Hello and welcome to the program. Okay, this past week and two, things have been wild in the markets. Oil's up. We got an uptrend in oil, WTI. 10-year yields up. Dixie's up, 105.06. And let's get into the charts and see really what's going on. Before we get into that, please subscribe to the channel. Click the like button. My goal is to get 100 subscribers. I'd really appreciate that. The like button helps get it out there. So here we go. This is the daily chart of the SPY representing the S&P 500. These last couple of weeks have been wild. Let's take a closer look here. Okay, this is a daily chart. So last week things came down pretty aggressively. I have this uptrend drawn here. And if you notice, we did get that one super bullish day on August 29th. And it ran up, and then boom, September 1st, we've been down ever since. Big drop off here on the 7th. And then today, on Friday, it shows a little bit of a resistance pushing it down, but nevertheless, we're in this channel of an uptrend. So we're holding at 443 as a good support, and we'll see if we go back to 451 and then higher up to this range. As this range continues, end up to 456 and so on. So right now it's looking pretty good. Let's just take a look. Let's zoom out to a weekly chart and see what's really going on here. Let's see what the charts are telling us. Okay, here we go. We got a weekly chart here. Markets are up. September. Let's see, a weekly chart. Okay, this is August 1st, and then we're coming down. Middle of August, end of August, and here we are, beginning of September. So in August, we raced up to this range, above the range. Now we came down. Do we stay in this range and bounce back up? Let's look at volume. This is a volume is dropping. So there is a smaller dropping right here in volume, which is bullish. So I'd have to say, as long as we stay in this channel, things are looking good. Let's go back to the daily chart, and let's put a study in here. Let's bring the simple moving average 200, which is the green line. There's the 50-day line. So you can see we bounced off it and came back below it. So right now we are below the 50-day moving average, and we need to break above that for it to be bullish. If we stay below that, it's not going to be good. This line's going to start coming down, and if it stays below that, then the trend, it's not going to be a good trend. So let's check out the QQQ. We'll keep the studies up here. Okay, we got the 250-day moving average, very similar to the SPY. You can see here we finished just a hair above the 50-day moving average. So let's take a look at the weekly chart on this. Yeah, very similar to SPY. It's still looking bullish. 371 found support. That's pretty good. There's a weekly chart. So, in fact, it found complete support at 372.30. So if we stay in this range between 371 and 382, we'll have to find out. Volume's dropping off, which is good for a pullback. Consolidation period for a leg up. We did have this downtrend drawn, but that's irrelevant now. We broke out of that. Excuse me. Let's go back to the daily chart. This is looking pretty good. And there's some other stocks here we was asked about. Well, Meta, for an example, it's still holding below the 50-day, but it's still on an uptrend. It's a good little correction here, which is bullish. So it's looking good. It's consolidating. Let's take a look at that on a weekly chart. Okay, you'd have to expect some type of profit taking. So, you know, it doesn't want to go really over 301. We'll have to see what happens. We'll keep an eye on that. What else we had? Intel had some pretty impressive moves this past couple days right here. It is a daily chart. You can see it really gapped up nicely. This week was really bullish. I actually missed that trade. But, you know, once it took off the 50-day moving average, it took off from $34 to $38. That was a nice run in just a week. So, Tesla. Staying in this up range. It's rejecting the 50-day moving average. It is between those up range bars. Take a look at this in a weekly chart. Little zigzag going on there. So up, down. And that's okay. So this would have been a nice area to maybe buy at 220. And if we get to at least, 288 or even 264, you could take some profits. You can see there is some resistance there. This is a weekly time chart here. So the 2 weeks in a row, it's pushing it down. It does not want to touch the 264. So we'll have to see what that. Keep an eye on there. Volume. Let's see how was volume on that on a weekly chart. Oh, volume is consistent. So, but it is green. So that's not bad. See something else we want to take care of. Palantir. That is still holding the 50-day moving average. Look, moved up. Was down here at around $8. That was in the beginning of May. Now it's $16, a 50-day moving average. Bounced off it is a daily chart. Made above it, but it's staying between 14 and 1566. That's the range for Palantir right now. Volume has been dropping off, holding it green and through this consolidation. Big red candle here. So we'll have to see what happens with that. We'll keep our eyes on Palantir. AMD, they are rejecting the 50-day moving average. It did break out of this channel, downtrend, but it seems to be pushed back down. We'll have to keep an eye on that. If this comes down here, breaks back into this downtrend. And let's take a look. All right, people want to take a look at NVIDIA. Let's find NVIDIA on your charts here. Where's NVIDIA? Down here. All right. There's a daily chart. And the 50 days moved up. Touched the 50-day moving average. Again, is a daily chart twice. It bounced off it. So this really is holding the 50-day moving average quite nicely. There's a gap fill here, though. Eventually, that's going to get filled. So we'll have to see. I mean, traditionally, there's a 90% chance. Doesn't have to, but 90% of the times, these gap fills do get filled. But anyway, there you got 200-day and a 50-day moving average. NVIDIA is holding strong up here in this range. It's holding 439. We'll say to 480. Did drop down to 418, but it bounces back to 439. So that's looking pretty good. U.S. Steel. It's always been one of my favorites, but they're still pending possible buyout. So it's just kind of holding this range between $30 and $31.28. A $1 range here. The 50-day moving average of buying time is just moving up. We'll have to take a look at Amazon. They broke out of this downtrend. So we're going to get rid of that. It broke out of this downtrend. Staying above the 50-day moving average. Bouncing off it beautifully actually here. It's looking bullish. It's really holding up nicely. Look how it bounces off this 50-day really nice, except for right here. But boom, bounce, bounce, bounce. Just goes up, bounce. Retest that 50. There's a gap here, but that has been filled right here and here. So there's the gap fill. Keep bouncing off this. That would have been a nice little buy there at 133. It's already at 138. That's just 2 days ago. So that was a nice big move here we had on a Thursday from 133.94 to 137.95. Apple, they have been big sell-off. The China news, not going to be using their iPhones for the officials. They're below the 50-day moving average. A gap down with earnings. Gap down more down here. It did have a positive day a couple days ago. Let's take a look at the weekly chart on this. I mean, there's a lot of, there we go, look at that. So 176, it's trying to hold. So if it breaks below 176, it doesn't look too good. I mean, there's always 171 right here. But there's a lot of room down from there. So we're just going to keep our eyes on that. In fact, I'll draw a quick little trend line on this 171, which matches this beautifully. Actually, it's 172. So we'll leave that there. We'll take a look at that. But that's about it, guys. Appreciate you watching. And the markets are wild. September, the end of September, people are speculating, bad news is good news and good news is bad news. Anyhow, please support the channel. Hope you all had a beautiful week trading and staying in the green. And again, please support the channel. I appreciate that. Thank you.